certain studs, they have to go in a specific location. I've watched a lot of videos on guys how to build the big block Chevrolet. Everybody shows the clay method for the piston to valve. I just want to touch up on a couple of things that people are not really telling everybody. Everybody says when you do piston to valve clearance to use a solid lifter, even if you're running a hydraulic roller. You put everything together, the push rod, the rocker arm, everything. You use a solid roller, you put the clay, you turn the motor 2 revolutions, and you check it. Well, everybody uses a flat tappet solid lifter to do this, and that's what they say is good. But if you use a flat tappet, which I have a flat tappet, I did this about 16 times until I figured it out on my own. If you use a flat tappet lifter, even though it's solid, okay, and even though the camshaft is going to be a hydraulic roller, you have to use a solid lifter, right? Fine. But if you use a solid lifter that's flat tappet, and you do the clay method to get your piston to valve, you will get the wrong reading. And I've watched a million videos on this, and I have not seen anybody even think or mention this. So I did what everybody says, you know, flat tap it, solid, do the piston to valve. I've done all of it. And every time I did it about 12 times, and it came out 30 thousandths on the intake, 60 thousandths on the exhaust, or vice versa. I called up a buddy of mine who's a professional engine builder, which his name is James Antonetti, JA Performance in Long Island, Valley Stream. A gentleman and a scholar. He'll take the shirt off his back for you. Anyway, he told me, he said, the reading on it is wrong because of the profile of the lobe on a hydraulic roller has a curve in it. On a flat tappet, it's more pointy. So he said, take the lifters I got, which he gave me. He said they're solid, but they're rollers. Put it on and do the clay method. And I did, and now I have my 120 thousandths and 100 thousandths of clearance, when before I only had 30 thousandths. So that's just something for people to think about when they say, oh, use a solid lifter. You have to use the solid lifter? Yes, but it has to be the same as the camshaft you're running. If you're running a flat tappet, you got to use a solid flat tappet. If you're using a hydraulic roller, you have to use a solid roller because of the roller tip on the lifter. So that's one thing that I've seen, and nobody ever says anything about it. Okay, not LMR, not. I could go on and on. Just look it up and you'll see. So I used the method of the solid roller for a hydraulic roller to measure the piston to valve clearance with the clay, and it comes out precise, exactly what you need, and it's correct. Also, the bolts for the cylinder heads on a big block Chevy, which this is a 454, there's different lengths that's supposed to go. Everybody, okay, you got the long ones here, you got the long ones here, but you have to put, I believe it's this one and this one is a different length than the rest of them. And I mean, maybe it's just me, and I'm not a professional, no means, but I looked at the instructions and it says 16, which is here, and 13, which is B, which is 288. And if you don't use those in the right spot, you're gonna run into problems, like I did, because I almost started cutting and shearing bolts and grinding them down to make them work. But like I said, James from JA Performance in Valley Stream, he directed me in the right place. So I'm gonna put the heads on and torque them down, and I'll be back.